Hello friends, I'm Ronin. Today I will show you my all PP builds for all characters. I have more than 100 builds and I will explain all builds. I have been playing Lost Arks PP for 3 years and I love making builds, trying different things like that. Some of class has only 2 or 3 builds, but some of class has a ton of builds. It is depend on me and kinda class skills. Also, all names probably will be different on EU and A, so just focus on skill and tripod icons, not the name of skills. So let's begin. I hope that builds can help you and you will like the video, so enjoy watching. Our first class is Arcana, and the first build is Arcana's 1v1 build. That build fits better on 1v1 and kinda fast. You can use Celestial Rain instead of Secret Garden skill, but Secret Garden has more RNG damage. I mean, if that crits, that can deal more damage than Celestial Rain, but if you are lucky. And let's go another one. Second Arcana build is card stack build. I really like that build, but that is not my favorite card stack build, but still want to put in. The main purpose is in that build. As you can guess, stack cards with blue skills and blast them with red skill. That card stack build is more safe compared to my favorite one. Let's keep going. And yeah, that is my favorite card stack build. So much more risky, but so much more satisfying, of course. Same purpose, just some tripods and one skill is different. Let's continue with another builds. And finally, Arcana's kinda meta build. That is kinda most used build by players, by Arcana players. Balanced build, nice for stable games. I have another variation of that too, which is meta build, but more risky because of evoke skill. It's really hard to hit that on 3v3, but it's still massive damage. Also some tripods differences from meta build, and that is my all builds for Arcana. Let's continue with Bard. I like to play with Bards, but I didn't play her so much, but I have kinda great knowledge, so that is 1v1 build for Bard. She's really strong class on 1v1, maybe you can't kill your enemy, but probably you will win. And let's continue. Second Bard build is, of course, I didn't recommend that, best Bard is support Bard, but if you want, if you are pervert, there is a damage Bard build, and keep going. And Bard's meta build, great build, so much super armor and balanced stable gameplay option, nice build. Another kind of meta build for her, but that build has more CC because of prelude to that, but less self build, so kinda more risky of course. And now Wardancer aka Battlemaster. First build I named by common but not meta because of her meta build is so much better in my opinion. But if you are not comfortable with that, I can give you that one. This is a stable nice build too. And second build is my old main build. That is only 2 old build in that video, but still want to put in. I miss that Wardancer so much. Other build is that different variation, and let's continue. And finally, her kinda new meta build. I really like that build so much, as that's so much fun and so much damage potential as well. With that build, after you fill up your passive for Vortex skill, you can Phoenix Dive or maybe Ascending Dragon into them, then instantly Vortex for huge damage. Very nice build that make Wardancer potential even better. And let's continue. And that is again Vortex build, but my most comfortable type of that build is that one. Want to put that too, maybe your friends wonder my taste about builds. So there is a build. Let's keep continue with other class. Berserk's first build is like other ones, 1v1 build. I took that build from one Korean player and tried that so much too. I really like that there is not so much differences from his meta build, but just Maelstrom skill is good for 1v1 instead of Lordstorm. And let's continue. That is meta build, people use that most. So stable, you can change some tripods, but I like that type. Difference from 1v1 instead Maelstrom. This time we used Swordstorm because of hard CC and huge AoE. Also there is different build types. You can use Maelstrom in that build, but you put that instead of Diving Slash. Let's continue with other class. And Deathblade. I have so much Deathblade builds, like more than 30. I delayed some of them to be more clear about her build, but still I have so much builds. My first build is kinda Brawler playstyle of Deathblade. You don't have that much mobility in that build, but you have great damage and dual potential. Second one is different variation of Brawler Deathblade. with less tenacity but more mobility in that variation. And another build is damage build with Cloak of Blades. If you max that skill, I mean Cloak of Blades, when you activate that skill you gain stagger immunity for 6 seconds, so you can use your sword art and hand of Asta skill with stagger immunity, which is very nice. So let's go with other ones. That is very useful build. Actually I like that build. You have so much nice slows and good damage, but you don't have any hard CC or buff from Cloak of Blades. So that is more for solo queue, I can say that. Other one is different variation of slow build. There is not so much differences, only instead vital attack I use Exile. And other one is high damage but risky build for Deathblade. You don't have any super armors, I mean good super armors, but you have kinda great mobility and really huge damage potential in that build, but that is so risky of course. And let's continue. That is same build, but instead of mobility you can gain one little hard CC with Cloak of Blades. And that is third variation of high damage risky build. It's less risky because of two-handed grip skill is easier to hit in that variation. You get Axel, which is good for super armor and mobility, but in general same purpose. Fourth variation is same as second one, but just we put Axel on that build. And finally, different type playstyle build. There is really fast and guarantee build because you don't have hard hitting skills. Your all skills easy to hit and you will still have decent damage, but without sword art you have less damage potential of course. This is really risky but really strong skill, I mean sword art. And let's continue. It is really weird, but if you can play well with that build you can play really well. It's so fast and no charge skills. You will not have Rising Wind Whirl skill in that build, which is really make that play harder to play. But if you get used to it play with build, you will be doing well without even Wild Wind. Really good build for solo queue. And that is a second variation of that weird build. You have less mobility but more combat potential in that variation. Same purpose like I said before. And kind of fantasy build, that is Frost build of mine. But of course that is more troll build like I said. But probably so annoying for your enemies. If you want to play that in ranked, please play in normal games before that. And finally Deathblade's meta build. I have different variation of meta build too, by the way. Let me show you other variations. That is different variation of Deathblade's meta build, and that is really good 1v1 build as well. Cloak of Blades make Deathblade so strong against stagger based classes like Deadeye, Gunslinger, Blaster, like that class. And third meta variation is most used type of meta build, I guess. Stable and guarantee playstyle. Nice build really. And fourth variation is without stun. Stun skill is so situational skill, so if you are not feel comfortable with that stun skill, you can use that build as well. Fifth variation of her meta build is last variation, I mean about meta. Instead of Axel in this build, you get vital attack for longer tenacity but less mobility and slightly more damage. And time to annoy your enemies because I will share my tenacity builds with Deathblade. First one has 4 tenacity. That is all you can get from Deathblade's normal skills. Plus you have your identity super armors too. So you can annoy your enemies if they don't have any hard CC. They can knock down you with that build. Second variation of tenacity build has more damage because of Hand of Avesta, but of course it's so much more riskier to use when you compare with Pulsar. Third variation is you sacrifice your tenacity and damage a little bit, but you gain good amount of mobility. That is third variation. And fourth variation is I put that sentence instead of sword art, and that is most guaranteed tenacity build because of all your skills can be hit easily in that build. But of course damage will be lower when you compare with other tenacity builds. If tenacity build has stun with that, you will have one hard CC too. Also we have Cloak of Blades too with stagger immunity tripod. But we don't have that much mobility, so be careful about that build too. And with that, my Deathblade builds finally ended. Let's keep continuing with other classes. Artillerist aka Blaster. First build is 1v1 build of Artillerist. I don't have that much different builds with Artillerist. All builds will be kinda meta build. Second Artillerist build is his meta build, meta 3v3 build. Very stable build, you can do good work always with that build. And third build is kinda different instead of meta, but we have only little differences. That is my friend's build. So if you want to use that, you can use that too. Let's keep going with other class. Shadowhunter aka Demonix. First build is 1v1 build. That is a really good build. You have 2 hard CC, which is really important in 1v1. Also you have 1 super armor with spinning type. Normally people don't use that in 3v3. So that is good meta 1v1 build. Second Shadowhunter build is my burst build. With terrifying roar and fury attack combo you can deal insane amount of burst damage, but it's risky of course. And third build is again burst build, but it's even riskier build because you will not have any super armors, so be careful about that. But of course more damage. Again another risky burst build, but at least you will gain 1 hard CC with that ray. But purpose of that build is kinda same. And finally let's continue with Shadowhunter's meta builds. I have some variation of her meta build, but they have little differences. That is first most common meta build of her. And second variation is you will gain more damage but less poke, so keep that in mind. Third variation of her meta build is different type of first one. Just if you don't like enhance skill, you can use fury attack instead and you'll have poke like first meta build. Fourth variation of her meta build is you down to skills from max level 7, which is Desperate, Breakthrough and Cruel Section, and you will lose only damage, but instead you will max Fatrenate Gloves and you will gain 1 more AoE with second knockup, so you can use that type too. Also you can use enhance instead of fury attack in that build too, like I said before. And another different build, that is Shadowhunter's mobility build. You have a really good amount of mobility in that build, but of course you will not have any good pokes or high damage, but still very fun build actually. And another build of her is Salve build. It's really fun build to guarantee damage and good pokes. And let's look at most fun build in my opinion, but sadly that is not effective now. With that build you will have so much identity gouge gain, but you literally don't have any damage instead of transform. But with specialty stat you will deal insane amount of damage with demon mod. Really fun build, but like I said before, not much effective anymore. And let's keep going with Destroyer. I don't have that much Destroyer builds, but first one is more safe build of him. You have so much tenacity of course, but you are Destroyer, so but you can't use your passive so well in that build because you don't have enough blue skills like other one I will show. But instead you have great AoE big damage purple skill. Second build is like I said before. Instead of huge AoE purple skill you get heavy crush for bonus orbs with your identity, so you can deal more damage with purple ones and open your identity break chains faster. And now let's talk about Deadeye aka Devilhunter. The first build is 1v1 build. Actually with shotgun skills you can deal insane amount of damage with that build. Second build is classic 3v3 meta build. Very stable and useful, so if you want to try, I recommend that one first. The third build is shotgun burst build of him. With last super and judgment time you can instantly deal 50k damage, but you lose sniper damage of course, a little. And let's continue with sexy girl Gunslinger. The first build of her is 1v1 build, sorry, not 3v3. 1v1 build. Good damage, fast and mobile, not that much different from her 3v3 build actually. There is another type of 1v1 build, but I guess they nerfed that and I couldn't find it. So there is normal 1v1 build. Let's continue with her meta 3v3 build. That is stable, good for 3v3. Gunslinger players use mostly that build. Fast and good, I like that build. But let's go to mine build. That is mine choice. I like aim and strike more than 0 ray, so I use that build. But there is not many differences, only that one. And let's talk about Sharpshooter aka Hawkeye. First build is kinda meta too. In Korea, but I don't see that much they are use that build in Russian server. That is huge CC build. very useful for team and so annoying to play against that build. But second build is also meta build, but they use that in Russian server so much more than other one. Good damage, good mobility and stealth. Other one is also meta. I just changed the evasive shot to persistent chase in that build actually. I like evasive shot more, but want to put that variation too for who want to know alternative escape skills. And another build is paralyzed shot with snipe build. With electric nova skill, you can paralyze them from so long range and follow up with your snipe from so long range guarantee hits. With that build, I like that, but you will not have stealth with that build of course. Another different build is risky damage build. In that build you have so much damage, but you don't have that much survival potential, so that is really risky build. Another risky build, like I said before, you can use evasive shot instead of persistent chase in that build too. Let's jump to another character. Another class is Scrapper, aka Infighter. I don't have that much different builds about her, but she don't have that much different builds in general probably. First build is a meta build of Scrapper. It fits well in 1v1 mode too. Stable and very mobile, nice build. And that is second variation of her meta build. I just put tenacity on Death Sentence. Other build, Death Sentence will deal more damage to single target, but in that build you gain super armor when you are using that skill, so play which one you feel more comfortable, what is fine. And last build of her is little different than other ones. With that build you take Supernova instead of Sweeping Strike, but Scrapper's identity has green and yellow skill balance, and if you use Supernova instead of Sweeping Strike, Supernova will consume so much more green energy, so that is risky, but that skill of course still so much more damage than Sweeping Strike of course. Also probably they will change Scrapper's identity in Korea. Let's start Lancemaster builds. The first build of her is 1v1 build. It's the most common one for 1v1. Only maybe one or two tripod can be different, but yes, that is 1v1 meta build. Second build is Lancemaster's meta 3v3 build. Very stable build, most common one for 3v3. Third one is little different. I didn't see that much players use that, but it's kind of more balanced about more and red skills. You sacrifice some blue skill tripods to get some red skill tripods in that build. And the next one is my favorite build. I like to play with this build, but of course that is my playstyle based build. You'll want to put that of course. And second variation of my build, that is more similar with meta build than my first one. Also third variation of my build is I just remove phrase of Ring of Light, and that is even more similar to meta build. And another different build is Spearfall build of my Lancemaster. I see that build very rarely, but it's fun actually. Piercing Light skill with that tripod deal so much damage, and combo is after you hit your tornado skill you cast Piercing Light, so that can hit with good damage, but mostly it's good for only 1v1, but still viable build on 3v3 with more risk. Let's talk about another character, Paladin aka Holyknight. The first build of him is not that much strong because you didn't use Ruffian Sword, which is so important skill. But if you want to more balanced gameplay instead of being support, you can use that build too, but like I said, Ruffian Sword is so important skill. Second build is, of course, I didn't recommend that like Bard's damage build, but still I have that one, Paladin's damage build. It's so fun, but not effective as support Paladin of course, and probably your teammates will flame you if you play with this build. The next one is Paladin's meta build, very good and stable build. You can use that, it's really good build. And that is different variation of his meta build. Instead of maxing Shield of Fate and sacrifice Retribution, Dagger, Lance, knockups, you can take Foresight for mobility and knockdown if you want. And last one is I got that build from rank 1 Paladin player Pepega. That is different variation of first meta build. If you want, you can use that too. Let's continue with different character, Reaper. Reaper's first build is her meta build. But I guess they use different meta build on Korea, but that is really good as well for now. And that is different variation of her meta build. Instead of Night Haze mobility, you can take Scarlet Eye for another red skill and another super armor. Another build is more risky damage of her. Instead of Trap Haze, which is good outplay skill by the way, you take Bloody Strokes and you will have 4 red skills in that build. But like I said, that is really risky build, not effective always. And let's continue with another character, Scouter. I don't have that much Scouter builds too, but first one is meta build of him. Very effective and stable, you can use that always. Second build is kinda more troll. That is transform build of Scouter. You can play with that build too, with specialty stat. It's a real fun build to be honest. And let's talk about my main, Sorceress. My first build is CC build. With Lightning Funnel, Gust and Frozen Dog we have 3 hard CC and they are so long. The shortest one is 2-second hard CC. That is really good build for team play, but you will lose some damage of course. Second build is more good for combo damage with Ice Arrows. It's really good combo and debuff skill. I like that build too in last days to be honest. And first fun build of Sorceress is Fireball build. It's really good but risky because you can't use your identity blink, so you sacrifice self heal to deal damage. But of course that build has so much more damage potential than other ones. And her meta build, that is most common used by players who want to put that too. Very stable and nice build. And the ultimate fun build is Meteor build. That is really felt so good to play with that build. But as you can guess, it's really hard to hit Meteor. Actually, if you want to hit your Meteor easily, you can change the second tripod for faster Meteor drops. But you will lose some damage of course on Meteor. But like Fireball build, that is so risky too. And that one has even more damage potential than Fireball one. So fun build but so risky as well. And finally my personal choice, so little differences from meta build but I like this way. I want to share that one too. And that was last Sorceress build. And let's continue with another character. Soulfist aka Soulmaster. Soulfist's first build is kinda control build. Little slow than other builds, but good for controlling fights. Second build is a Field Tennessee Knockdown build. Instead of Destruction, you can take Suppression Field, and instead of Anarchy Discharge, which is very important actually for team buff, you can take Thunder Palm. That is kinda more selfish build, but want to put that too. And the meta build, that is kinda meta build of her, but I see players trying different skills on her too. But most common one is that one probably. Good and stable build. And that is second variation of her meta build. Instead of hard CC with Thunder Palm, you take Thunder Palm for another team damage buff. That is good variation too. And another selfish build of Soulfist, I don't recommend that too, but it's fun and deal good damage, so why not. Another one is that is more viable variation of risky damage with team buffs. Better in my opinion, even if you want to play with damage build, but less self buff and mobility of course. And that is also selfish damage build like other one. Just instead of mobility and self buff, still you can take hard CC with Thunder Palm. And let's continue with another class, Striker. First build is classic Striker build, viable for sure and common one. But the real meta build of him is that one. It's more guarantee build, but if you want to play even more guarantee, you can take Electric Wind Kick instead of Halberd Thrust Kick. You will deal less damage, but more guarantee damage of course. And the most fun damage and the most risk build, Big Tiger build of Striker. Like I said, that is really risky build, but that is so fun and so much damage potential. Let's talk about Summoner. Our first build is meta build. Most common, maybe 1 or 2 tripods could be different, but that is generally most using by players. Nice and stable build. Second build is much more risky but has so much more damage potential. With Electric Discharge and Spear combo you can deal insane amount of damage, but that is so risky like I said. Third one is more safe build of her. You take good super armor skills and it is much more safe than other one. And another build is Kinda troll build, but it's so fun. Summon build. With that build you can annoy your enemies so much, but it's not that effective. But still want to show that too. That is another variation of summon build with less summons, but that is more viable but less fun of course. And last character is Gunlancer aka Warlord. First build is meta build of him. Very useful and stable build, you can use that always. Second build is my choice. I like more risky damage with Warlord and I mean Gunlancer. And that is my build, want to show that too. With that build my all builds finished. Don't forget friends, still you can make better builds than me. But I want to show my all builds, so maybe that can give you some idea about builds. I recommend meta builds at the first, then you can make it perfect with your playstyle. Thanks for watching, I hope you guys liked the video. Have a nice day, take care of yourself.